Don't set goals or try to achieve anything until you've done this one thing. How many times have you tried to set a goal or accomplished anything, or maybe set a New Year's resolution and it didn't work out? I once read 8% of the people that set New Year's resolutions actually achieves whatever that is. And it's because people don't set SMART goals. So today I'm going to break down what SMART goals are and how it will help you achieve anything that you put your mind to in the terms of goal setting. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. That's what SMART goals are. I'm going to break down some questions for you to ask yourself when it comes to each of these letters. And I want you to be able to write it down so that you can achieve whatever goal it is. So S, specific, clearly outlines exactly what you want to achieve, leaving no room for confusion. Measurable includes a way to quantify progress, allowing you to track how close you are to reaching your goal. Achievable is realistic and attainable based on your current abilities and resources. Relevant allows us your broader objectives and contributes meaningfully to your overall goals. Time bound has a specific deadline for completion. Now think about when you've set goals in the past. When you set your goals, did you outline exactly what I just said for each of your goals? Were you specific? Were they measurable? Were they achievable? Were they relevant? And were they time bound? A lot of times when people set goals, they just say, hey, I want to lose weight. Or they may say, hey, I want to lose, 10 pounds in 60 days, which is great. They have a couple of what we just said, but are they realistic about the expectations around the outcome based on the resources that they have? Do they have time? Do they have right nutrition? So what I want you to do in regards to your goals, I'm gonna give you I would say specific questions to ask yourself, all of those right now. Number one, for specific, let's do this first. Write down 3 goals. That'll help you out. Write down 3 goals, whether it be lose weight, start a business, or whatever it is. That'll help you rope this all in together versus me just giving you questions to ask yourself. So do that real quick. Write down 3 goals. So now that you have those 3 goals, I want you to, for specific, what will be accomplished? What actions will you take? So write down those 3 goals and now write down what I just said for specific for those 3 goals. And so now for measurable, what data will measure the goal? So how much, how well, and whatever else you can give for measurable in context to your goals. Write those down. And now achievable. Is the goal doable? Do you have the necessary skills and resources to be able to make this thing happen? A lot of times people will have these unrealistic expectations around goals because they don't even have the resources available to be able to do it. It's like, okay, I want to be a millionaire, but you don't have a business, you don't have an idea, you don't have a plan, right? That's one of the quickest ways to not become a millionaire. I'm just saying, because you don't have anything or the resources available to even become a millionaire. So come up with the idea first and then figure out how you're going to execute that idea in terms of that. So relevant. How does the goal align with your broader goals? And why is this result important? So obviously it goes back to what I just said about being a millionaire. Why is this important to you? What is it going to do? What are you going to achieve by becoming a millionaire? Someone's life going to be changed outside of yours, or what's relevant? And then time bound. What is the time frame for accomplishing the goal? You want to be a millionaire in how many months, and how is that realistic, and what are you going to do? So now take the 3 goals that I just gave you and answer these questions with all 3. I want to see what you come up with. I'm going to tell you this. The reason why SMART goals are important. You want to know where I got it from? I got it from NLP. You want to know who also uses it? Tony Robbins. So if you ever gone through a Day with Destiny or any kind of Tony Robbins program, they always talk about SMART goals. These are some of the things that you first do when you get into a program, because if you're trying to get someone to help you out, how are they going to be able to help you out if they don't know where to start? So when you come to someone like myself, I'm going to go through a plan like this with you so I can know exactly what we got to do to get you where you're trying to go. And so that's one of the things that when you're dealing with a coach that has experience like I do, or something like what Tony Robbins does, the reason why people are so successful when they leave our programs is because we go through so many different plans and processes to make sure that you actually hit your goal, because you have all of the necessary tools and resources, and you have a complete plan on how to do that. And so that's kind of what this SMART goal does. We go through, whether it be 3 or 4 different goals, and we bullet point, this is what you got to do. And then we have activities to give you around this. So now we have exactly what your goal is, what's the end result, and we have your why on why you want to do it. And so this is why you go through something like this right now, doing this, because once you get done doing all of these, you will have a clear blueprint of activities on exactly what you have to do. So right now, I'm curious. I had a goal of leaving my job when I became a entrepreneur. So my goal was like, all right, I want to leave my job, but how am I going to do it? So me going through NLP and get my master practitioner, and even before I got here, I took an NLP class, not an NLP class. I took a public speaking class because I wanted to be a public speaker and kind of do what I'm doing right now. And so while I was there, they made me come up with a program, right? And so through that program, it was like, all right, and this is before I quit my job, I went through this program. So it's like, all right, how do I quit my job? And then when I quit my job, what am I going to be able to do? So I knew how much money I need to have. I had to have 5 months in my bank account for reserves to pay bills or emergency or anything like that. And then I had to have a pipeline of deals that were closing so that I'm like, all right, I got this cushion. I know how much money I need. So I first went through breaking down my expenses. So let's say I needed $5,000 a month. I needed $5,000 a month to pay my mortgage, pay whatever, do whatever I had to do. So that was the number that I had. So then before I leave, I needed 5 months. So I needed about $30,000 in the bank in order for me to leave my job. So me having the $30,000 in the bank. And then on top of that, I had deals in the pipeline that were closing. So I didn't have to deplete that $30,000. So I had a clear roadmap of what I was going to do. I broke down expenses. I broke down how much money I needed. And I broke down what's going to happen after I leave my job to keep that money coming in. So that's kind of what I did when I left my job. So it wasn't so crazy for me to leave my job and for me not to leave with a safety net. And then I had a business that was able to give me some money. And so from that point on, I had a pipeline of deals coming in. So boom, boom, boom. It was like a constant thing. And so I've never had to look back. Did it get bumpy here and there? Yes, it did. But I still stuck to my plan and I still had deals flowing. And so maybe I might have been like, oh my God, I run into a bad spot because business goes in cycles. You're going to go through the same thing. But what I did have, I had a roadmap and I had a plan to stick to that kept me along the course. So a lot of times what you're running into when you have a business, if you have a plan and you have a pipeline, some of those deals might not close in order for you to keep afloat. And so if you don't have a business where you can go out and raise funds and you're solely relying on yourself and your business income, then you might run into a problem. And so that's the beautiful thing about people that have these businesses where they can go get funded. But if you don't have that option, you got to make sure your pipeline is secured. So with me and my business, some of those deals didn't close on time and it put me in some bad spots because I couldn't sell an asset in a quick enough time. Or like I said, the deal didn't close in enough time. So now I'm kind of like, don't have any money. I'm not broke. I don't have any money to cover me for whatever it is. But luckily I have resources that will allow me to go out there and maybe do a loan because I'm like, hey, this is going to close in, 90 days, I'll pay you back. So having a pipeline helped me be able to go out and get money from friends and family to cover me until that deal closed. But if you don't have that situation, that's why, you got to have a plan. So you got to go through your SMART goals and come up with your roadmap and figure out what your activities are going to be so that you can create a pipeline for whatever it is your goal that you're trying to accomplish. It doesn't have to be financially. It doesn't have to be money. It could be like, all right, I want to go to the gym and lose weight. The person that you normally go to the gym with is not available. Do you have a backup plan, or do you have a DVD, or do you have some YouTube person that you can follow that you can replace your gym partner to make you motivated or help you stay motivated, right? Or do you have a backup plan as far as your diet goes? Like, do you have the ability to intermittent fast or go on a fast for 2 days or whatever it is? You just got to have some kind of pipeline for your particular goal. And that's what you can do when you set SMART goals and you create activities around that. I think it's also helpful for you to have a coach. And so I'm really big on having a coach. And this is why I created the Confidence Catalyst as a program for people to go through, because you don't have to worry about this. We come up with the entire roadmap based on SMART goals, and then we coach you. You meet up with me or someone once or twice a week or once a month, depending on what program that you're in, for you to make sure that you hit these goals. And so again, if I were you, I think coaches are magnificent because you've heard me say you get to buy down your ignorance tax. And that's huge when it comes to being able to hit a particular goal. So click the link below to join the Confidence Catalyst program and let one of us be your coach or your mentor to get to, to whatever goal you're trying to set and then accomplish it at the same time. So I hope you guys are finding that SMART goals will be beneficial, because what they do is they clearly define what you need to accomplish. It gives you progress for you to be able to track, and it's realistic for you to be able to achieve along with and align with any objectives or any kind of goals or any kind of thing that you're trying to accomplish in life. And I think that's why it's important, right? It gives you a clear deadline or a clear timeline for you to follow. And I think a lot of times people don't have that. People have these goals, but they're like, what am I doing? And like, once you have some kind of accountability, that's what time does. It's like, all right, I got to do this in 60 days. When you get to day 45, you're either going to give up, which, we're not doing that as our coaches or whatnot. We're not doing that. Or if you have someone like an accountability partner, they're not going to let you give up. But once you hit 45 days, you at least know how far along. If you're at 60 days, you've got a couple more days left to turn it up or whatever you got to do. And this is the benefit of having time bound goals, because now you're like, all right, I'm 30 days in and I haven't lost that 5 pounds, or I haven't lost that 10 pounds, or I haven't even made 100 grand. Like, so this is why having time is a cool barometer when it comes to having SMART goals. And this is why I like the SMART goal outline for people to set goals for. So I hope you find this helpful, because if you're doing this, you're almost 100% going to achieve whatever it is you're trying to do. Because if you didn't, it's because you're not following the step-by-step plan. You outline everything that you need to do. So if you're not doing this, you need to start doing it with all of your goals and whatever you're trying to accomplish, because you can see how there can be no room for error when it comes to using SMART goals. It's impossible because you have everything you need. So the last thing I'll say, one thing I do like about the realisticness of having SMART goals, sometimes people will have these unrealistic expectations around goals. And here you are running in circles. You're on a hamster wheel because you're not being realistic with what you're trying to accomplish. You don't have the resources available to even hit this goal that you've set for yourself. So to me, it makes sense why the number of 8%, I mean, at first I was shocked, but it makes sense, because if people are out here just setting goals and they're unrealistic, then yeah, 8% is a good number, because it's hard, man. It's hard hitting goals. It's hard, just achieving whatever it is you're trying to achieve in life if it's not realistic or you don't have the tools available. So anyway, I hope you found, the SMART goals and the SMART outline helpful. Use it in your day-to-day. Use it moving forward. And if it doesn't work out, I mean, reach out to one of us to, get accountability from someone above you that's going to be like a drill sergeant to make sure that you get it done. So again, don't set goals or try to achieve anything before you set SMART goals. And until next time, take care.